Hello, this is Mr. Precella, and I'm picking up right where I left off a few minutes ago discussing lines, and we were discussing slope-intercept form of a line and how if you have a line in standard form, if you rewrite it by getting the y by itself, that's slope-intercept form, and the letter in front of x, the coefficient on x is the slope. The constant over here is the y-intercept where the graph is crossing the y-axis. And so the natural question to ask is, well, where the heck do they get these equations? How do I come up with one of those equations myself? And that's what we're going to be doing to wrap all of this up. How do we write one of those equations? In order to write an equation for a line, you need to know the slope and any point. It doesn't have to be the y-intercept, just any point. So this is my first example I'm doing here. Find an equation for the line having the given slope and containing the given point. So let me write this bigger. This is, the slope is 7. And the and the point that it's given is the point 5, 4. That's definitely not one of the intercepts. But in order to write the equation of a line, all you really need to know is the one point and the slope. It says to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, and that's what we're going to begin with. Okay, let me color code this. We have y equals, mx plus b. Okay, y equals mx plus b. That's slope-intercept form, and we're going to type that in right here. That's our goal, is to write the equation like that. Well, to get started, we already know m. M is 7, so I'm going to replace this black m with that black 7. So we have y equals mx plus b. Well, we need to know this number b. Where is that graph crossing the y-axis? And we weren't told the y-intercept. If we were told the y-intercept, then it'd be easy. We just plug it right there. But what are we given? We're given an x and a y. I'm wondering if y'all can tell the colors, or can you figure out what I'm trying to hint at that I'm going to do? In order to find this green B, that's what I need to know. It's that number right there. What am I going to do with this purple X and purple Y? Plug them in. Plug both of these numbers in. Plug the 5 in for X. Plug the 4 in for Y. When you do that, you should be able to then figure out what the number b is. Y equals, 4 equals 7 times x. That's going to be 7 times 5, not 75, and plus b. So I plugged in the x and y that are given. So we have 4 equals 35 plus b. How would I solve for b? What am I going to have to do to get the b by itself? Yeah, subtract 35 from both sides. Did y'all hear that? The 4 minus 35 is a negative 31. So there's our value for b. B is negative 31. So to write the equation, replace the n with 7 replace this b plus b with a minus 31. If you want to write plus a negative 31, okay. But I think most people would write it like this. Y equals mx and just a minus 31. And that's what I would type in. It'll have a spot for you to do that. It says y equals. Okay? So what we're doing here is writing the equation. In order to write the equation of a line, you've got to know the slope, and then you've got to have at least one point, any point. Okay? I'll replace m, the slope, with what we were given. Then to find b, you take that ordered pair that you're given and plug in. Remember, this is x, y. So you're plugging a 4 in for y and a 5 in for x. And then once you do that, perform the multiplication and get that b by itself by subtracting 35. Any questions there? Let's see. Let's do another one of these. You're probably wondering, well, how much harder would this be if the slope were a fraction? Is that what y'all are wondering?
Yep.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah. Here on number 14, the slope is a fraction. So it's going to be a, ooh. Okay, well, I'm saying ooh because the colors I've sort of messed up on, but okay. Okay, so the slope is the fraction 5 over 6, and the point that we're given is 3 negative 8. So to get started, y equals m. Oh. Y equals mx plus b. Well, to get started, it's not too difficult. Just plug a 5 over 6 in for m. The thing that's going to be a little bit more involved is the plugging in x and y. Why am I saying that? Well, students always hate to work with fractions. Ooh, can y'all tell my b's from my 6's? That's a b. It's going to become important in a moment. Because we're about to have to plug in 3 negative 8 in for x. And since there's this fraction, it's going to make it a little bit messier. Okay? And so I'm going to do something that it's up there in your head. You know what I'm about to do. You may not realize it yet. But we've discussed how to get rid of fractions from an equation. What could I multiply straight through by that would cancel out this a 6? I'm going to multiply straight through by a purple 6. You may not be able to tell that color's purple there. So I'm multiplying by 6 here. And right here, when I go 6 over 1, look at how it does the cross canceling. And now there's that 6. So we have at this point, I think I'll just write it all in one color. 6y equals 5x plus 6b. Why did I do that rather than just immediately plugging in like I did here? I think it's easier. It's going to be easier to plug in now. I'm going to plug a negative 8 in for x. I'm going to plug a 3 in, I'm plugging a negative 8 in for y. And I'll plug a 3 in for x. I think the calculations will be easier without that fraction right there. That's why I multiplied by 6. So plugging in, I'm putting in as 6 times -8. That's times -8 equals 5 times 3 plus 6b. I'm just trying to show, I know you could do the calculations in your head. 6 times -8, you don't have to write that out. I just wrote it out to show my thought process, what I'm doing here. I have a -48 on the left. And what do we have on the right? Is that going to be a 15 plus 6b? Is not plus 66. Any questions? Are y'all caught up with me? Am I going through too fast? Now, how do I get the b by itself? Okay, let's start off by subtracting the 15. Here's my little arrow symbol, but that means this. -48 minus 15, is that a -63? Equals 6b. Now, do what to get the b by itself? Divide. Oops, I'm dividing both sides by 6. Did y'all see how I wrote a b there? I was thinking, are my b's and 6's looking too much alike? And looks like we're going to have a fraction here. 6 doesn't divide evenly into 63, but I think we can reduce that a little. Can I divide both of those by what? 3? If I divide above and below by 3, is that going to give me a 21 on top and a 2 on the bottom? So I can now write the equation. That's what I want to do. Write the equation of that line. Y equals, replace the m with 5 over 6. Replace the b with -22 over 1. So here's what I'll type in as the answer. Y equals mx. And instead of writing plus and negative, I'm just going to write minus 21 over 2. Any questions on that one? Okay. Let's see what I did. And I chose to multiply through by 6 just because I think it makes the calculations easier. If right up here you want to plug in a 3 and just say 3 times 5 over 6, okay. Just work with fractions going through here. I think in the long run it's easier with the calculations, getting rid of that fraction. Okay. Any questions there? So, the most basic problem-solving strategy is if you know how to do one type of problem and you're confronted with another type, can you sort of make it into one of the ones that we've already know how to do? This last problem I'm going to do, at first glance you're going to say, oh wow, that's different. And it is, okay? It is somewhat different. The one I'm going to do now, instead of being given the slope and a point, we're just given 2 points. Same instructions, write the equation, but instead of being told the slope and a point, you're told here are 2 points. At first glance, it seems different from the ones we've done just a moment ago, but they're actually pretty similar. Thinking back to what we've already done, what have we already done when we had 2 ordered pairs? Were there some problems? Look at these. These 2 right here, where it says find the slope of the line given these 2 points. Y'all remember doing that? Y2 minus Y1. Like here was another one. Find the slope given the 2 ordered pairs. What am I trying to say we're going to have to do on this one? Find that slope first. There's one extra step on this one. Since you weren't told the slope, you're first going to find the slope. So let me see. What's that slope formula? Slope. Let me write it down. It's second y minus first y over second x minus first x. Okay? Just using that formula like I did on this problem here. Once we know the slope, it'll be just like the problem we did, like the 2 we just finished doing. So let's see. I'm going to plug in. Remember how these things are ordered, or labeled, I mean. When you have 2 ordered pairs, you go x1, y1, x2, y2. Make sure you're going x, y, not x1, x2. So let's see, what do we have up on top? We have a 6 minus 4 over 9 minus 3. What's that going to reduce down to? On top, 6 minus 4, 2 over 6. Could I reduce that to 1/3? Okay. Now is it very much like the ones we just finished doing? The ones that we finished doing, you were given the slope and then 1 point. Well, here we have 2 points, but okay, just ignore one of them. There's the point, there's the slope, here's a point. It's very much like the ones we just finished doing. So let's write out the slope-intercept form. It's y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So replace the m with what? The 1/3. Okay, so replacing the m with the 1/3. And my first thought was multiply through by 3 to get rid of the fraction. But I'm noticing something, and if you notice it, then you might decide you don't want to bother multiplying 3 by 3. Which one of these points do you want to plug in for the x and y? It doesn't matter. You'll still get the same correct answer. Okay, I'm going to do the 3 and 4. If I plug a 3 right here, 1/3 times 3, is that going to cancel real nicely?
Yes.
It would be just 1, wouldn't it? So I think instead of multiplying 3 by 3 on this one, I would just plug in the 3 for x and the 4 for y, and it works out real nice. So I'm putting a blue 4 in for y, 1/3 times 3. Ooh, that's a little times symbol there. And plus b. Okay. Now, here the 3's cross cancel, so we just have a 1. And heck, I guess you don't even need algebra to solve that one. This is like the stuff you did in elementary school. 4 equals 1 plus box. What number goes in the box? 3. But then once you start doing algebra, you do all that subtracting 1. So b equals 3. This is the last one in y'all's assignment. I guess maybe it's the hardest, maybe not. What am I going to type in for the equation? Y equals 1/3 x plus 3. Good. Okay. Any questions on that? So in order to write the equation of a line, you've got to have a point on the line, and you need to know the slope. If you don't know the slope, then just one other point. If you know 2 points, then you can calculate the slope. Okay? So that wraps it up for lines. So this second part of the video is a lot shorter than the first part. But thanks for watching or listening. Bye-bye.